We're now going to speak about all 3 points of view together to give you the basic assumption of the Jewish nation. This assumption of the Jewish nation is tied to the prophets. I would like to make a few points about the nation of Israel with respect to their history, their past, and their future. The solution to all things that we mentioned previously is based on the Jewish intuition that the world was divinely created and that history is a guided process of ongoing improvement. Basically, we need to understand the viewpoint of the person of faith who believes that there is a creator of the world and that the world was not just geologically created. It is believed that their God, the Creator, is guiding the world along a path of constant improvement, and in the end the Messiah will come, and that will be the end of this world. Those individuals who have chosen to believe in the Creator of the world and in His ability to lead the world believe in this basic assumption. Not all human beings accept this assumption. The nation of Israel was imparted with this outlook by tradition through a process of handing down from generation to generation. Later on in this lecture, we'll see just how powerful this tradition is. Everybody who has joined together with the nation of Israel, the Bnei Noach, believes this too. We would like to understand the key to looking at the history of the entire world, including the history of the nation of Israel, which is directly under the scrutiny of the Creator. First of all, I want to present you with guidelines, the 3 ways of viewing the world: physical needs, reasons based on conscious decisions, and God's guidance of the world. This is based on Ein Ayah Berakot 48b, Orot Yisrael and its Resurrection, Chapter 2, Orot HaKodesh, Volume 3, and article on honesty and cycles. Israel sees 3 ways to achieve this understanding, 3 categories of thought to analyze reality. The first is nature. All living creatures are motivated by the lack of the basic needs of life, such as food, clothing, and living area. The second is free choice, or history viewed as a result of human choices. Man is a free agent, and he can therefore decide whether to conquer the nation that is geographically in his proximity or to not wage war. And third, divine guidance. The world is controlled by the Creator, who guides it into realms that He chooses. It is not easy to comprehend that this is happening. We may even need to make a conscious effort to perceive a mystic dimension. However, we are not talking about individual human perception, but rather the view of a whole culture which sees world events in a special way, that of revelation by the Creator. For example, the Bible, which was created by the Holy One, blessed be He, in cooperation with the children of Israel, describes the passage of time as a directed process in all 3 of the dimensions discussed above. Take the story of Joseph and his brothers. We start with the famine in the land of Canaan, a natural event which causes the people, as living creatures, to take action to fill the void of hunger. That's dimension A above. In addition, there is constant tension between the brothers, which includes feelings of jealousy and moral dilemma. Joseph tells his father about the deeds of the brothers. They sell him into slavery. When the brothers are standing before the king and they aren't aware that Joseph the king is really their brother, they feel guilt with respect to Joseph and with respect to their father Jacob. This represents the free choice of the human being, or dimension B. And at the highest level of understanding, we can see the unfolding of the divine plan as it was revealed to Abraham many years before. Know that your descendants will be strangers in a foreign land. This is dimension C above, divine guidance. Joseph and his family found themselves in Egypt. From the era of the Bible and the direct revelation of the Creator to the nation of Israel, the inner circle of the sages of Israel maintained their historical viewpoint in all 3 dimensions of understanding as discussed above. I would like to discuss the approach of a wise man who lived about 600 years ago, many years before Immanuel Kant was born. This is directly related to what we've been talking about up to this point. Our example will be the way Rabbi Avraham Bibago analyzes the 3 periods of exile that Israel has experienced in terms of the senses, emotions, and the intellect, as opposed to the wisdom of prophecy. Rabbi Avraham wonders why the exile of the Jews among the nations has continued for such a long time. The first 2 exiles were much shorter, 430 years in Egypt and 70 years in Babylon. Why is the 3rd exile taking so much longer? As an answer to this dilemma, Rabbi Avraham compares Israel throughout its long exile to a man who is analyzing different types of thought with his colleagues, in this case the other nations of the world, in order to decide on which ones to rely. Are the senses the correct way to discover the way the world operates? This would be learned from the exile in Egypt. The answer is that this is not at all comparable to prophecy or direct contact with the Holy One, blessed be He. Can we successfully understand the world through our emotions? This was the essence of the exile in Babylon. But this attempt to make use of our imagination cannot compete with the absolute truth of prophecy, a direct conversation with the Creator. In the third exile, it is necessary to differentiate between the intellect, as characterized by the science and philosophy of Greece and Rome, and prophecy. But this takes a much longer time and a much greater effort, since the intellect can cause confusion and even be mistaken for prophecy itself. And that is why the third exile has taken so long, because it involves a very long and involved analysis.